Okay. Okay. Very lovely to see you all. Okay. Now we have a recording that started, and let's talk a little bit about the presentation. I'm sure you know that you got this invitation because you were admitted to the foundation programs of this faculty. It's either it may be English, Hungarian, or German, right? I think most of you will come to the English Foundation program, right? If I'm not very much mistaken. Okay, so this is just a warning again to have read and consented to this recording being made. Okay, so let us begin. Please note that if you have any questions, can I ask you to wait until after the end of the presentation, right? So do not write any chat messages now, because I will not be able to both read them and answer them, of course. And plus, I also have to be talking about the main facts. So if you have any questions, then make sure you remember them. And at the end of the presentation, you will have the chance to ask them away. Okay, so let us begin. Okay. Let me ask you, can you see this? Can somebody tell me if they can see it?
Yes.
Yes, very good. Thank you so much. So now I would like to ask you to turn off your microphone again. Thank you so much for letting me know this. Okay, so welcome. The faculty is very happy to have you, and I'm sure you already know quite a deal about us. After all, we have been sending all sorts of information letters to you, so you must know. Okay, can I ask you to turn off your microphone, please, because this is all being recorded. Thank you. Okay, now, so let us have a little bit of the barest essentials on the start of the spring semester. So, as you know, you are in your first term, in your first semester here. And very conveniently, your first semester is actually starting on the 1st of February, right? That's quite a convenient day. Okay, now let me introduce a few people who you will be meeting quite often. One of those people is actually me. I'm the deputy head of the Department of International Affairs, but this is not really that interesting. And I also teach at the School of English and American Studies here. And the other person who will be in charge of dealing with your issues is Dora Sabo. She is my very lovely colleague, right? So if you write to our address, foundation@btk.alta.hu, then it's either me answering your emails or, of course, Dora, right? And then you will also meet your directors of studies. These people are in charge of coordinating some of the teaching-related aspects of your stay here. One of these is Mr. Cornelis Tripernovsky. Yes, he has quite a difficult name to pronounce. He's the director of study of the English Foundation program. Then you have Judith Bandli. She's in charge of the Hungarian Foundation program. Dr. Bandli actually works at the Department of Hungarian as a foreign language. And we have Ms. Ildikó Daróci. She's from the School of Germanic Studies, and she will be in charge of your German Foundation program. I'm not sure if there are any people now who have actually managed to log in, but we have at least 4 or 5 people who want to take part in the German Foundation program. Okay, let me just briefly tell you that all of our classes in the upcoming term, meaning the spring term, will all be online, right? And please remember, you cannot ask to have your classes not online, so you can't ask for your classes to be on campus, because there are absolutely no classes of any kind given on the campus. all this is because of these extraordinary set of circumstances surrounding the COVID scare, right? So if your classes should change from online to on campus, then we will, of course, let you know. Now, once this happens, if it happens, that we don't quite know, and you are still stuck abroad, or if you feel your close relative health is compromised, you will have to submit a request for online education. We are not yet here. Don't think about this now, right? Okay, because now all classes are actually given online for all students. Okay, I don't want to talk about this for a very long time. If you wish, you can go back to this presentation. This presentation, both the recorded version and this file, this PPT, will be shared with you in this Teams group. So you will have to go to the files section of this team group, and then you will find this there. Okay, now please remember that once you come to Hungary, due to these special set of extraordinary legal measures introduced by the government last year, you are not allowed to be on the streets between 8 p.m. and 5 a.m. in the morning. Well, 5 a.m. of course means in the morning, right? So you cannot be found on the streets of the city or anywhere else. So you will have to be at your homes. Please note that if you are caught by the police, you will have to have some very you will have to pay some fines. Okay, so please remember this. Everything is sort of shut, and you are not allowed to be outside your flat between 8 p.m. and 5 a.m. Okay, let's go on. I'm sure you know this. You have to wear a mask, and you have, whenever you come to the faculty and you talk to one of us, you will always have to keep this epidemiological mandatory distance. It sounds, it's a terrible term, but you have to be at least 1.5 meters right away from us. Okay, and as you can see, this is just a repetition. Wear a mask, wash your hands frequently, practice social distancing, and stay home if you feel unwell. Well, of course, you will not be coming to the faculty until further notice, so we'll actually be staying at home and not at the faculty. Okay. If you think you will arrive by the 5th of February, then you will come to register in person. And when you come to register in person, we will also have to take your temperature. So if your temperature is found to be higher than 37 degrees on this Celsius scale, then I will have to ask you to leave. It's either me having to ask you to leave or my colleague Dora, right? If this happens, then you will have to write to us, and then I'm sure we will come to some sort of an arrangement about your registration. Actually, then you will have to register online. Okay. Now, I'm sure most of you already have a sort of a health insurance. That's a policy. You must have it. You either have it from your home, but some of you may probably not have it, but then you are obliged to buy one. And when you come to register, we will tell you where you can actually go to buy yourself such an insurance policy. If you have, so whenever you feel sick, you must see, of course, a doctor. And this is why it's very important to have an insurance policy, because it's very easy then to give those people a call, and then they will arrange for you to see a doctor. Okay, always follow the instructions of the health insurance company. Okay, if you feel you would like to read about all of these COVID regulations at the faculty and at the university, you have all the necessary links here. I'm not going to speak about this now because then we could actually spend the whole day here. Okay, let's go on. Now, if education at one point actually turns from online to on-campus education, we are not really sure when it will happen or if it will happen at all, then the faculty will give you all sorts of arrangements. So it may well happen that some of your classes will be held on the campus, but some of them will be held online. If you ask me which of these will be online and which of these will actually be on campus, I have absolutely no idea. We are not yet there. Now all classes are online, so please do not forget this. Okay, if you wish to read about this, then you can do so. So, for example, an online course is usually a synchronous online course, which means that you and your teachers will have to be in front of the computers at the same time. So this is not a recorded course. It will be happening in real time. Okay, we will come back to this if we return to on-campus education. Okay, now once this happens, if it happens, then you are still stuck at your home, meaning in your home country, then you will have to submit a request for online education. This hasn't happened yet, right? So please let us not have questions about this, but it may be very important to some of you, because I know not all of you will be able to come to Hungary because of all sorts of visa-related issues and similar problems, of course, right? Okay, and if you ask me, is it possible to complete an entire term doing your classes online? The answer is yes, of course, right? So you can complete your entire semester from your home country and not come to Hungary at all. So this is a possibility. Okay, this is a reminder. Some of you have already arrived and will come to register in person. If you picked a time slot, then you already know when you have to come. Okay, you must complete your confinement or your quarantine before you come to see us in person. Some of you are still abroad or will arrive, of course, later. In this case, you have opted for online registration. I know some of you are very patient. I know this is always the case when you want to start something completely new, and now you are actually doing your university education. For some of you, this is the first time, of course, in their lives. Don't worry, we have your data and we will soon send you a small package that will contain all the papers, all the forms that you will have to sign. And once you return them to us, you will have become an active student of the faculty. And after you have returned them, all of the papers, we are going to give you a certificate of active student status. But it will only happen after you have returned all of these papers signed, right? And then, of course, you might ask, how long can I actually wait to have this online registration arranged? Well, basically, it must happen by end of February. Why? Because of our absence policy at the foundation programs. By end of February, you will have missed 30% of the classes, right? So, and if you miss 30% of your classes, you can no longer be a student. Let's go on. This is the orientation week. There you have the link if you're interested. Now, what will happen next? Now, I'm going to give you a short introduction on your program, and I'm just saying this again. I'm just repeating myself. A recorded version of this will be uploaded to the Teams section of this of this meeting, and I will also upload the PPT version, so you are free to read the files at home. Okay, what will happen later in the week? Don't be surprised to receive emails from all sorts of strangely named people. They will be your teachers or those people who are teaching staff, and they will have to arrange for you to take your placement test. So watch your email, and whenever you have something that looks like an important message, do not delete it. See the names of these people, and I'm sure they will tell you when to show up for a placement test. Of course, you can ask, why do you need to have such a placement test? It's because we have to make sure that you end up in the right foundation group, right? Some of you may be speaking English, Hungarian, German better than some of the rest of you, and depending on your score, you will actually be placed in one of our groups. Okay, what about registration? It has already started. I have already had 3 people, and the in-person registration will be continuing this week. Okay, now let's see some of the more stressful aspects of this presentation. Okay, let's talk about this. The first one is to stay here, of course, legally, right? Which means that you must have your residence permit. I think the majority of you actually already have your residence permit because you already arrived sometime last year, right? October, November, or right, December. So I'm sure most of you will already have their residence permits. Okay, please remember, registration is always like a must, and the institution that is responsible for giving you the residence permit has this very long and very terrible name. It's called National Directorate General for Aliens Policing. No, you're not an alien from the film, right? This is just a very posh term for saying whoever does not have Hungarian papers and wants to stay here for a prolonged time must have their documents arranged. Okay. If you're a student from the European Economic Area, then you will have a registration card. I'm not sure if there are any such students around, but there may be. I am not actually sure about this. And now most of you will be from the non-European Economic Area. You must have a residence permit, but most of you already have it. Okay, so you have to keep your stay legal. For EEA students. It's for those people who I'm not even sure if there are any such people. You must have a registration card, but we will talk about this when you come to register in person. Okay, if you are a non-EEA student, then you must have your residence permit, and it must happen within 30 days after your arrival. You have arrived with a D type or with a so-called a study type visa. It's not a working visa, it's a study visa. Okay, now everything now it seems in this country must be done online. This is quite understandable, of course, right? So if you want to pick up your residence permit, if you want to submit your data, and if you want to pick up your residence permit, then you will have to click on this magical link here. If you ask me how can I remember this link now, you don't have to remember it because this file will be uploaded into the file section of this presentation. Okay, if you want to read about some other aspects of your stay, then you have another link there which will actually take you to the site of the faculty. Okay, this is what you will have, or your already have. This is your residence permit, right? With a big smiley face on it. Okay, this is the back side of it. Okay, now, if you are a non-EEA student, please remember this. Keep your active student status, right? So do not become a passive student. Keep us informed at all times about any changes that should happen to you. If you have a family emergency and you have to go back to your country of origin, please make sure that you actually tell us before you actually go. Report all emergencies and request information from us if you have any doubts or questions. Now, please remember that once you come to register or once you send back your little package of registration documents, you have become an active student at the faculty. Now, in case you need to leave Hungary temporarily, it is your duty to inform us about your departure. Please do not just disappear. Always let us know. Actually, it's us and your teachers as well. Why? Because it's so much better to know that you are safe, right? It's absolutely forbidden to have active student status while you do not attend any of your classes. Do not forget that we will always have to turn you passive if you do not attend your classes regularly. Okay, your student card. What about your student card? Well, if you are not in Hungary, then you can't have one, of course, right? Because for you to have a student card, you must actually have a reported Hungarian address, which you tell us, of course, and we record the address in the system. So if you ask me, when can I have a student card? Well, when you come to Hungary, right? If you do not come to Hungary during the term, then you don't actually have it, or you don't need to have it. Okay, for those of you who are in Hungary, let me inform you that there is an organization which is part of the faculty, but it's independent. Sorry, it's part of the university, but it is not part of the faculty, which actually means that we cannot arrange for your student card. I'm sorry, can I ask you to turn off your microphone? Thank you. Okay, now these people are called questura. As a matter of fact, everything is done online. If you ask me, how do I find these people? We will send you a little package which will contain this piece of information as well. Or if you come to see us in person, then we will give you a piece of paper which will contain all you need to know. Now, what about the location? It doesn't really matter now. Why? Because all their services are done online. They're not very far from us, but in this semester, all services are arranged online. So there are no appointments at all. Okay. If you still want to if you want to have something arranged online, then you will need to have your Neptune code and your password as well. Then you will immediately ask me, how do I get my Neptune code and password? You will get it when the time comes, right? When you come to see us in person, we will give you a sheet of paper which will contain this information. And if you request it for online registration, then we will send it to you as well. Okay, let's go on. This is where they are. As a matter of fact, it would take you about 6 minutes to get to these people, but this is something that you should not actually consider now, because everything is done online. Okay, student identification. It's again done online, and most of you as students who will be staying for a period shorter than 12 months, you will not actually be able to request a plastic card. It will be a student ID paper, but it has the same function as a plastic card, right? Okay, do not forget the ID, meaning this student ID is valid for up to 60 days. So you must renew it regularly. Of course, you can ask me how. You have to arrange for it online. But for this, you will have to know your Neptune code and your password. This is something that we will send to you when the time comes. Okay, what do you need your student card for? Well, if you want to travel in the city, I mean, go from A to B, then this is something that you will actually need because it gives you access to discounted monthly passes. Okay, so this is for discounted transportation. This is what it actually looks like. So if you are in Budapest, then you will be able to request, after you have done this student ID card for you, this monthly discounted pass for a little bit, for something around in the region of 3,000 forints. Okay, so please remember your student ID card number is necessary for the pass to be valid. Once you have it, always have it with you, right? Because there are BKK, these are the Budapest Transportation Company. This is their name. There may be officials who are authorized to check the validity of your ticket or pass anytime during or after your trip. So if you have a student card, then buy this discounted monthly pass. And then you can ask me, of course, what do I do until I manage to arrange this for me? Well, what you can do is this. If you do not yet have your student ID, buy a full-priced monthly pass for a month, and after that you can use your student ID. But never ever try to travel with no ticket or monthly pass. This is absolutely no, right? So because the fines are very high. Okay. Okay, what about your finances? Well, please remember, paying your fee is something that you need to have done before you come to register. Why? Well, because we are a huge organization and we need your money to be able to kickstart the semester, right? We have our teachers to pay and so on. So if you're a first year student, you already paid your fee. Some of you paid it, I don't know, half a year ago or even before that. Okay, now after the first semester, so if you decide to stay with us in September as well, the last day is the last day of the registration period, which is end of the first week of February or the end of the first week of September. Okay. I'm sure you know this. This site contains all the data that you need to have. When you decide to pay your fee, then you will have to know quite a lot. So you will have to know you will have to know our account details. You will have to know the address, and you will also have to tell us who you are and what are you paying for, of course, right? And then you will have to say, I am John Smith, studying in the Hungarian Foundation program, and my term is, I don't know, like 2021 2, meaning the second semester of the academic year. Okay, so this is what it should actually look like, right? If you ask me where can I actually find this, it's there on the site, right? This was the link that will take you to the site. Okay. Now, another thing, it's very good if you open a bank account in Hungary, right? It makes the transfer of money, fees, something very easy indeed. You will, of course, say that for you to be able to open an account, you have your certificate of active student status. Yes, of course, but you will, of course, come to see us and then you will have this certificate. Okay, there are a number of banks, of course, in Budapest. As a matter of fact, there are, of course, like hundreds of banks, so I'm sure you can find your own. Okay, now, well, I'm not really sure whether we should be talking about the campus because you will not be coming onto the campus or into the campus for quite some time. But still, if you are interested, this is what the campus actually looks like. As you can see, we have a number of huge buildings here, and if you look at this photo here, there you have Building A. Building A is where you will come to see us, if you need to come to see us, of course, right? Okay, now this is us now. We are the Department of International Affairs. This is our address, and you will find me and my colleague Dora in room 31. This is on the ground floor, right? Room 31. This is where we are, but I'm sure we are easy to find. Okay, how do I contact this department? Well, please remember there is no drop-in office hours after the 5th of February. Why? These are the regulations, right? So if you come to see us in a person, you can actually come to see us only once. Then you can ask, how do I come to you and give you my residence permit? Well, you don't come in. What you will have to do is make a scan of it, and then you send your documents to foundation@btk.alta.hu. Don't worry now. We always monitor, of course, this mailbox. So we'll always find whenever you decide to write to us. Okay, this is something that I have already said. So you can only come to see us once, and the very last day to see us will be the 5th of February. After that, you can only contact us through our email, right? Okay, courses. I'm sure you are interested in right hearing. How do I actually sign up for them? Okay, before we look at that, please remember that the semester is built up of a number of sections. You first have the registration week from the 1st until the 5th of February. Then you have the so-called study period, which lasts from the 8th of February until the 3rd of July. So this is quite a long time. As a matter of fact, in this semester, your study period will last for 22 weeks, and the exam period will start at the end of June. But individual arrangements may actually vary. If you want to have a look at the itemized academic calendar, you can actually go on this link and see it for yourselves. Okay, let me ask you, I mean, you might actually want to ask me, how do I register for a course? Well, as a matter of fact, you don't, because this is something that we will do for you. You must take all of the courses that are prescribed in your first academic term here. So there is no cherry picking. You must take and hopefully pass all of your subjects. So first you take a placement test, then the teaching staff actually tells me which group you ended up in, and then I will put these courses for you in the system. And what's the name of this system? Well, it's called like Neptune. Okay. Exam period. We will register you for your exams as well, and this will happen sometime in June. Don't don't worry about this now. Okay, a few interesting facts about subject and courses. If you are interested in what you will actually have, then you have a number of links here. So find it there. I don't really want to talk about this now because this is something that you can look up yourselves as well. Basically, have a look at the list of study units which actually contain everything you need to know. So you will have the code of the subject, you will have the title, you will have the credits and so on. Okay, and how to sign up for these courses? Well, it's usually done in Neptune, but in the foundation year, we will enter these courses for you. Why? Because it's so much easier for all of us, actually. Okay, now, if you are already in Budapest, let me ask you, can anybody, does anybody actually know where this statue of Neptune is actually found in the city? If you come to register in person and if you tell me the exact location of this, then I will give you a surprise. I mean, it will be a very fine piece of chocolate of sorts, right? So if you are in Budapest, please try to find this, right? It shows this is a statue of Neptune. Okay, let's go on. You have the institutional websites, right? Okay, so if you want to read about the foundation programs, please click on this link. Okay, now let's talk about very briefly about academic regulations here, and most importantly, our absence policy. Okay, if you go there, then you will find the academic calendar. It basically contains what I have already told you. So you have the registration period, then you have the study period, then you have the exam period. These are the these are the three basic building blocks of any academic year or any academic term, if you wish. Okay, now we have our regulations here. Your reason for being at the university is for you to study and take part in your courses, right? So the foundation program is a package. All courses must be taken together. There is no picking and choosing. Okay, number one, actually, getting grades for your courses. By the end of the semester, oh, I'm sorry, this is not end of January here, but end of June or beginning of July, you must have at least one completed object, right? In case you do not, an official letter will be sent out calling you before a committee to explain your absences. If you do not respond to this, we will contact the authorities. This actually means that we are obliged by law to send your name to the immigration office, those people with a strangely long name, because they have to know what you are doing in the country, right? So if you're not studying, if you are missing your classes, then we will have to report you. Unfortunately or not, this is standard practice. Okay, now academic regulation number 2, you will have to report your absences. Please remember, whatever happens, it cannot be as bad as to not allow you to actually tell us what is happening, right? So inform your teacher in advance of any absences. If your absence is caused by an emergency, you should contact your teacher afterwards. And contacting your teacher in advance or later does not mean you are exempted, right? So please remember, we always have to know where you are. Why? Because you are a student at this faculty and we have to know what is going on with you. Now, and now this is a very, well, this is the third point. This is our absence policy. Please remember that this is something that you will sign, or you have already signed, and you accept its content. It basically means this: if you miss more than 30% of your classes is one subject within a period of 4 weeks, you will not get a grade and you will not receive any credit for any one of your courses. What are the consequences? Well, we will have to turn your status passive, and we will forward your case to the National Directorate General for Aliens Policing, which means that your residence permit may be actually revoked if you do not attend your classes and your visa was for study purposes. Then you have become a passive student, which means that you're not attending your classes, which means that you have nothing to do basically in this country, right? So please do not forget this. We are obliged by law to tell the immigration office what is happening with you. Okay, if you miss your classes in more than one subject for 2 weeks in a row, an official letter will be sent out calling you before a committee to explain your absence. If you come and explain the cause of your absence, you might get a chance to stay active, but you cannot miss any more classes. If you do not respond, we will have to put you on a passive status and we will have to tell the immigration office as well. Okay, what about failed subjects? If you fail a subject in the first semester, can you retake it in the second semester? No. Why? Because they're not given in the second semester, right? So please make sure that if you want to have a grade in all of your subjects, then you cannot allow to miss any of your subjects, right? So please try to work hard, and then by the time you finish the term, a grade will be entered in the system. Okay, now this is a summary now. This is not a threat, right? So do not misunderstand us now. This is a promise, right? So the consequences of your absences are this: your status will be set on passive, and it means that all of your courses will be deleted. There will be no classes, no grades, and no credits at all. And there will be no exams at the end of the semester. And please remember, there is no refund of your tuition fee, right? If you turn passive at any stage, there is no refund of any kind. And of course, as you know, we will have to forward your name to the immigration office. Okay, let's go on. I don't want to talk about this for too long. The grading system in Hungary, and the one that we use at the faculty as well, is from 1 to 5. 1 is a fail and 5 is an excellent. You cannot have a grade better than a 5. Why? Because that's the end of the scale, right? Okay. What happens at the end of the autumn semester next year if you pass all of your subjects during the course of your 2-semester program? So if you decide to stay with us and you stay for a year, what will happen at the end of your program? Well, you will certainly get a credit certificate. It will state all the credits you completed, and you will also have a certificate of achievement stating your achievement in percentages based on the end of the year exam in June. So the type of certificate depends on whether you pass all of the courses or just some, as well as the level of your achievement and the program you have completed. So in English, levels below B2 will not be shown in the certificate. If you have completed, or if you will complete a Hungarian, the foundation in Hungarian, then all levels will be shown, B1, B2 and C1 as well. Okay, and then this is what you will have. This is a sample certificate. It will contain your name, the name of the completed, and as you can see, this particular student has scored 60% in the final exam, corresponding to CEFR. It means Common European Framework of Reference. That's a system that we use in the European Union, and this particular student achieved B2 level, which is sufficient for admission to BA studies at this university. It means that if you want to continue your studies at the faculty, at a BA program, then this program already gives you the language certificate that is needed for admission. Okay, now what's there in a certificate for you? If you achieve B2 level, you will get from us an offer. It's called the letter of acceptance, so LOA, for an autumn semester in BA in English and American Studies, BA in Hungarian, and BA in Germanic Studies, specialized in German. Right? So why is this good? Well, there is no admission procedure, there is no entrance exam, no questions asked. Of course, you can choose not to start your program. This is not, of course, a must. The letter of acceptance is valid for one autumn semester only. And please remember, there is no letter of acceptance for a spring semester. Even if you finish the program next February, you will have to wait until July to get your letter of acceptance for September. Why, you may ask? Well, because no BA programs actually starts in a spring semester. All our BA programs start in an autumn semester. Okay, now please remember this: if you do not want to stay with us, but you would like to go to another faculty or to another university, you have to inquire about whether our certificate is accepted as proof of language competence. Make inquiries at the university of your choice, right? So for example, if you finish our program here and you want to go to, I don't know, Szeged or Debrecen in Hungary, then you will have to ask whether those people actually accept this. Most universities are very happy with this and they will accept your certificate of B2 level. Okay, registration and picking a time slot. Well, I'm sure you already know this because you have already told us when we can expect you. We have in-person registration. Some of you said they would arrive by the end of the registration period, which is the 5th of February. If you do so, and if you have not yet asked for a time slot, please go and please find this link and pick a time slot for you. We now have time slots for Thursday and Friday. Tuesday and Wednesday are totally full. Okay, now I just want to set your mind at peace. If you will not come to Hungary by the 5th of February, you have applied for online registration. Do not pick a time slot. We will be in touch soon by the end of the week, and you will receive from us the package of the documents that you will have to sign. Please read the instructions as well, and you will have to return them to us preferably by the 5th of February for us, or of course next week, because we have to make sure that we are able to print out all of the certificates of active student status. Right? So we'll not have a certificate of active student status until you have sent back all of the documents. Okay. What are the documents needed for on-campus personal registration? Letter of acceptance, confirmation of payment, passport, your original certificate of matriculation. This actually means your graduation certificate from high school studies, right? I will need your Hungarian address. I mean, we will need your Hungarian address, the zip code, the city, and so on. I will need a Hungarian phone number as well, just in case we need to make a emergency call. I mean, to you in case something happens. I will need a photocopy of your student visa page and 2 passport photos. Please have all of these photocopied before you come to see us, because we do not like to, or we don't want to make photocopies for you. This is your duty to come prepared. Okay, documents needed for registration. You have online enrollments. You will have to. Oh yes, fine. So if you opted for, if you chose online enrollment, and you arrive to Hungary sometime after the 5th of February, then you will have to come in and show us your original documents, right? When lockdown has been lifted, right? Don't worry about this now. The documents for completing your registration, I just keep repeating myself, wait for them in your email. Please check your spam as well and return to them to us as soon as. Some important facts about your fee. Please remember this. After you completed, it's either in person or online registration, you are an active student of the university. Interrupting your legal status as an active student is a serious matter. It can only be requested on grounds of poor health or a serious family emergency. And you will have to write to us to request this. There's a note, a very important note. Please remember this. There is no refund of your fees after the 15th of March. Before the 15th of March, only proportional refund may be granted, right? So for example, if you do register with us and for some reason you decide to quit, do not expect us to return your fee in full. Why? Because we cannot do this. There are all sorts of regulations, and please do not forget that we also have to pay our teachers. So once you start attending your classes, we also have to give our teaching staff a salary, and all this comes from all of the fees. Okay, and please remember, if you have turned a passive student due to absences, meaning if you are a passive student, there is no refund at all. Okay, technical issues and other practical matters. Well, this is not really that interesting, but it may become interesting once you are allowed to come back to the campus. You can use the Wi-Fi at the campus, of course, and you have a short description there. Well, you have all sorts of shops around here. Okay, and that's the end of this presentation. Please enjoy your semester with us, and if you think you will arrive by the 5th of February, please pick a time slot for registration in person during the orientation week now. If you do not know what this means, please write to us at foundation@btk.alta.hu. Okay, that's it. Good. Now let me return to you. Let me stop sharing. Okay, let me ask you, are there any questions? I can only have questions from one person at a time. And can I, if you have a question, can I ask you to raise your hand? If you look at Teams, okay, yes, thank you.
Good day.
Hello, and your question is?
My name is Khaldabayef Nurmagin. I'm from Kazakhstan, and I don't understand about the payment. You spoke today about it. I have already paid the first semester, and I need to pay something.
No. If you paid your fee, that is okay. That is okay.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry. You are one of those people who constantly worry. Don't. It's fine, right? It's fine. So once you paid your fee, it is okay. If you have any questions, just always feel free to write to us, and we will set your mind at peace, right?
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions? Yes. I see I had some chat. Okay, please, is it compulsory to study for 2 semesters to be able to take the final exam and obtain attestation, you mean a certificate at level B2? No, as a matter of fact, no. You are not, we cannot, it's not compulsory to stay here for 2 semesters, but you have to remember that if you want to take an exam at the end of this term, and if you do not get a B2 level, I will not be able to give you a certificate which actually states that you have achieved B2 level. It all depends on your level of English, of course, right? Or German or Hungarian, right? But it is perfectly okay to take the final exam at the end of your first semester. I think this may have been asked by a person who probably wants to continue this from September in a BA course, right? Yes. Okay. So it is not compulsory. Any other questions? If you feel it's easier to write me a chat message, please write me a chat message. I like to chat with people, but not at the same time with a lot of people, right? So, any other questions? This is, okay, I am not sure about your pronunciation, but once you come, you will tell me. From Turkey, I am an online student. Do I need to fill in the form or wait to? You will have to wait for me to send you all the papers. It will be a nicely wrapped up little package for you, right? So don't worry. I'm not sure when we will be able to send it to you. Probably on either Tuesday or Wednesday. Just watch your email box. Is it okay? Good. I have some further chats. Let me see. When is the final exam in June? Yes, the final exam is in June. The very last day of your semester is the 3rd of July. That is the very end of the term, or the very end of the semester. And the exams will be sometime before the 3rd of July, right? Which is usually the end of June. I don't know the exact date, of course, right? But it will happen by the end of June. Okay. Does someone speak Russian?
Attila?
Yes, hello.
Excuse me, can I ask you?
Of course.
Quastia office, is it open or no?
Who?
Quastia office.
No. Everything has to be done online.
So we will take online appointment or no? We don't know.
You cannot have an appointment, but for example, if you want to have your student card, then you can ask for one through the web, right, through their site, and they will send it to your Hungarian address.
Okay, so to the Hungarian address. So the postman come with this.
Yes, because you cannot ask for your student card to be sent to China or Japan, right?
And for the Neptune code, you will send it.
I will send it, and the password as well. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions? We still have time. Yes, so basically we will try to make this registration as unproblematic as we can. Okay, if we finish the second semester at the end of January, when can we take the final exam? Well, it will be next year. Well, exams usually happen at the end of January, right? So it's either the end of June if you finish in a spring semester, or it's the end of January if you finish in an autumn semester. Please, when we have to pass the test, I don't know, please watch your email, right? I said that your names and your email addresses have been sent to our teaching staff, and they will write you an email, right? So please watch your email box. If you find all sorts of strange names appearing there, it may be from some of your teachers. Yes, I have a question.
Yes. Can you repeat about Neptune?
About Neptune. Okay, so you have chosen online registration, which means I'm going to send to you your Neptune code in an email, and I will also make a password, which you will have to. So the password is like this. I am going to start making a password. You will get an email into your mailbox, and then you will have to complete it yourself, which basically means that only you will know the password, right? Don't worry, it will be fine, right?
Okay. Okay.
Just
Thank
please
you.
always watch your email, spam as well, right? Yes. Okay, somebody asked the big audience if anybody spoke Russian. Yes, I'm sure that there are people who speak Russian around here. Yes, and somebody actually replied. I'm very happy to have speakers of Russian here as well. We don't have a Russian Foundation program here, but who knows? Okay. Any other questions? We still have time. If you feel more comfortable typing the question down in a chat message, please do it. Okay, one more thing. This presentation, as I said, both the recorded version and the PPT file will be uploaded, right? Let me show you where. Okay, I have a question. We passed the oral test today. I'm sorry, I don't know. Talk to your teachers, right? I am not one of your teachers, right? Talk to those people who sent you the email, right? I'm sure this week is going to be a very busy week for you, right? So I don't know when you will have to pass your test. Just follow the instructions of our teachers. Okay, thank you. Now, let me show you where you are going to find this recorded version and the file as well. Let me show you. Okay, let me show you. This is my desktop now. And so this is what it looks like, right? This is the main page of our team. We are now in the general part, see? It's here. So where are you going to find these files? You will have to go here, right? It says files, and at the moment there is only my second orientation letter there. In case you still want to give it a good read, you can. And this is where you will find two other files, right? So you will have the recorded version of this presentation. Someone has actually muted me. Why? Is it because you don't like me? Don't mute me, right? So what I was telling you, this is where you will be able to find your files under the files section here, right? Okay. Study time. Do we study in the evening or in the morning? I'm sorry, that depends on your timetable. That depends on when your teachers are available. I'm sorry, I don't know. It depends. I'm sure some of your classes will be in the afternoon, right? Not in the evening, really. Or some of them will be in the morning. I'm sorry, I simply don't know yet. It also depends on which group you will end up in, right? In the English Foundation program, we are trying to have as many as 6 or 7 groups or even more. It depends on how many of you actually chooses to register. Who can take the final exam in June, except students who have, well, In June, only those people can take the exam who really can show that they want to continue their BA studies somewhere, right? It's not a usual option, right? It's only an option for those people who can actually show to us that, let me tell you, I have a BA program which starts in September and I would like to take my test. It's perfectly okay, but you will have to inform your teachers about this. So please remember that if you are in the English Foundation program, you really have to be able to pass the B2 level exam, because we do not give certificates below B2 level, not in English. If you take the program in Hungarian, those people will issue all sorts of certificates, of course. My English is good. Is there a possibility to start by the B2 level? I'm sorry, it depends on, I mean, how well you speak does not depend on you, but how the teacher actually sees it, right? Take your placement test, and then it will end up in one of the very many groups. So we'll have to wait and take the test. That's why it's called a placement test, because on the basis of this, we will place you in one of the groups. Okay, we still have time. We still have about 5 more minutes or so. So if you are not brave enough to show your face, that's perfectly okay. I totally understand. Some of us are camera shy, but if you have questions, ask away. I see there is, now you can see what I'm doing. Okay, thank you. If you chose to come to register in a person, please make sure you always arrive on time, not before your time, because we are not allowed to have very many people outside the office, right? And we can only serve 2 people at the same time. I will be expecting 1 person, and my colleague Dora will be dealing with another person. Okay, let me see how many of us there actually are in this meeting. 33, which means it's about half the people who actually express their wish to register. Okay, is it okay if we put an end to this discussion? If you have questions, write to us, right? I'm sure you know address by heart now. Okay. Oh no, I'm sorry. That's me asking a question. I don't want to ask myself a question. Okay, so if you want to ask away, write to foundationbtk.alta.hu, right? Okay, people, thank you so much. We will call it a day. I mean, we'll call it a presentation if you wish. And then soon you will have this file in the files section. Okay, thank you so much. See you around.